watching Avatar: The Last Airbender for the first time. Part 3, episodes 7 through 10. Hi, I'm Taya, one half of Your Little Sisters Productions. I'm a writer, director, and story enthusiast. If you haven't watched parts 1 and 2, here's a recap. Dante Basco will always be Rufio to me. I've seen the live-action M. Night Shyamalan version, and I know some of the spoilers for the end of the show, but this is my first time watching the actual show itself. Now, we kind of have a rhythm of summarize the episode, share my real-time reactions, and then discuss the storytelling that they used. Let's get to it. Episode 7, The Spirit World, Winter Solstice, Part 1. In this episode, Aang and the gang see a burned forest and stop to check it out. They're asked by an old man for help getting rid of an evil spirit that is destroying their town. The spirit gets stronger the closer it comes to the winter solstice. Aang goes into the spirit world to try and rescue Sokka and is visited by Roku's dragon, who lets Aang know that he can talk to Roku about being the Avatar on the winter solstice if he's in a certain temple. Then Aang returns to the real world and convinces the monster spirit to leave the town alone, and that the forest will grow back. Now on to my reactions. Aang sees a burnt forest. Rufio sees a little too much of his uncle. I like the use of fire in different ways. Fire can burn nature and destroy a forest, and it can also create hot springs. Katara, again, making Aang happy and giving him hope. Okay, nightmare fuel. The spirit monster, Heibai, is super creepy. Sokka's voice literally cracks when he attacks the monster. These are children, and no one seems to think it's weird that they're traveling alone and battling giant monsters. I really shouldn't be watching this with an adult brain. Sokka is the only actual warrior. He's like the most Gryffindoriest Gryffindor that ever Gryffindor. Why is Uncle still naked? Aang's in the spirit world?
Like they said, I'm the bridge between the worlds, right? All I have to do is figure out what I have to do. But once I do that, no problem.
All I have to do is figure out what I have to do. You and me both, kid. You and me both. Dragon! We love dragons here. Why can Iroh see the spirit dragon when no one else can? Why did Uncle choose to escape in that particular spot? Like, the shoe I get, but it seems there would be more convenient places to land. At least at a crossroads so Rufio knows which way to turn, maybe?
The Avatar.
Rufio sees Appa, and he chose his uncle over chasing the Avatar. Aw, we love him. Bangarang. Wait, they're crushing his hands? That's not okay.
Now would you please put on some clothes?
Please put on some clothes, seriously. It all comes back to the acorn of hope. Dun dun dun. This is a call to action cliffhanger. Aang receives a side quest amidst a current quest. Okay, the storytelling in this episode is mirror storytelling. Mirror storytelling, it's close to circle storytelling, but much more simple. When Aang's internal conflict is mirrored by his real life, he resolves it when he learns something and then teaches that same thing to someone else, allowing his internal self to heal by helping someone else going through the same struggles. Okay, that was episode 7. On to episode 8. Avatar Roku. Winter Solstice Part 2. In episode 8, we finish the story of the winter solstice. Aang travels to a Fire Nation temple to talk to Roku, who tells him that he has to stop the Fire Nation before a comet comes and gives firebenders a super boost, and they can take over everything. Aang and the gang barely make it out of the temple with their lives as Zhao, a bunch of priests, and Rufio are all after them. Okay, my reactions. Yeah, like your Hufflepuff girlfriend and your Gryffindor protector are going to let you go anywhere alone. Zhao again. I hate this guy. and not just because I can't pronounce his name. Action scenes only stop action when the power is changing. So the fire sages are evil and chasing them. Follow me. Do you know where you're going? No, wrong way. I love the dialogue. I love the doors in this show. Come on, Rufio, you ruined it. Ugh, Zhao again? He follows Rufio and is just the worst. Summer's End is our story's deadline, upping the stakes and making progress in our story. The drama of this temple destruction. The Roku device is angry. Okay, storytelling techniques is episodic setup and action storytelling. Most of what happens here won't matter until later, but we now have a deadline, we have a clear goal, and we have a final fight foreshadowed. One of the hardest things in storytelling and action adventure is knowing the balance within a fight scene. Writers are not often taught how to do action scenes properly, and it's a red flag of amateur writing if your action isn't the correct cadence. The best video I've ever seen explaining this is from Hello Future Me here on YouTube in his On Writing series. He actually references this show a lot, but funnily enough, he doesn't for this subject, so I will. But basically, action should be quick and keep going until the balance of power has shifted. When there's a change in who's winning, when the environmental elements change the balance of power. And if you wait too long to change the balance of power, you end up with issues like that new Argyle movie, which was a fun movie, don't get me wrong, but could have cut at least 5 action scenes in half and still had the same amount of story and wouldn't have lost viewers to boredom in those scenes. Given the runtime of Avatar, they had to be very intentional with their action and make sure every fight and falling rock moves the story forward. I like that this didn't feel like a pointless side quest like it did in the M. Night Shyamalan version. It actually gave direction and purpose to their story. Alright, on to episode 9, The Waterbending Scroll. In this episode, we get introduced to pirates. Katara is now going to teach Aang all she knows about waterbending so that he can start before they reach the North Pole, because of the impending deadline that we were given in the last episode. Zuko has to get his uncle a lotus tile in town and ends up teaming up with the pirates to capture the Avatar, which they do because Katara is jealous. And once again, they barely escape with their lives, and turns out Katara is a horrible role model. My reactions. Seriously, Sokka is the hero of this show. The way fans of the show talk about Sokka, I was expecting him to be a comic relief character that doesn't add a lot to the overall story, but they would not be doing good without him. Sokka gets soaked no matter who water bends, not just his sister. Katara is jealous once again, and this time of Aang's power, not just his popularity. Pirates! So Katara is a thief now? I guess that's proof she's still a kid. Hey, it's the Cabbage guy again. I like how they're on a flying bison, yet this guy is beating them to the next town. Katara is different here when she's not confident. Unlike when she was helping the Earthbenders in the prison episode, here she's more concerned about the fact that she can't mother Aang about waterbending because he's already surpassed her. She now has to compete with someone who is better than her at her thing. Funny how her whole identity is waterbending and mothering. Like Sokka was the only warrior in the village. Both Sokka and Katara's identity were carved for them in the village out of necessity, and this whole journey is them learning to find and create their own selves within those identities. When Sokka's identity was threatened by the Kyoshi warriors, he humbled himself and learned as much as he could in a short amount of time. Now it's Kiara's turn, and I don't think she can handle being humbled just yet. Rufio has her necklace? I forgot about that. Why are Rufio and Katara not a couple again? There's so many hints. No wonder people ship these two so much. But I honestly just love Rufio and want him to be happy in all of his reincarnated lives. Water and fire bending. It's steam. Is steam bending a thing?
Aang, this is all my fault. No, Katara, it isn't.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah, it kind of is. I love the facts that are dropped here. Yes, Katara, your thievery and pride got you into this mess. It is your fault. Fight scene. Funny and character building as well as world building. Boat stealing. The lotus tile was in his sleeve all along. Rufio throws it. How frustrating is this kid's life? Alright, storytelling types in this episode is called hiding narrative exposition. So now Aang can waterbend. And since we had an entire storyline about Katara's jealousy of his avatar given talent, no one cares or even notices that he learned it all in one day. And Katara is not a good role model and learned nothing. Alright, and last episode, episode 10, Jet. Alright, this was an interesting episode. In summary, the crew meet a group of rebels who are fighting back against the Fire Nation. Katara want to stay and help them. Sokka sees them mistreat an elderly man and wants to leave. Turns out Sokka was right, and Jet, their leader, is actually going to blow up a dam using Aang and Katara's waterbending, an explosive he stole from the Fire Nation. It will kill all of the soldiers and free the rebels from the Fire Nation's control, but it will also kill an entire town of people. My reactions to this episode are shorter because I was mostly in shock. My reactions: go Sokka. He knows more than anyone. If I didn't love Rufio so much, he'd be my favorite. They joke about Sokka's instincts, which means they're gonna be right. Why are they carrying the packs? Appa can still carry this stuff when he isn't flying. They're just making it harder for themselves. Jet reminds me of Gummy Bears cartoon, Kevin, but like an edgy version. Jet is bad news. I can feel it. The red glow of the color, the music, the fact that Katara's clearly attracted to him. Yeah, he's bad news. Robin Hood meets the Lost Boys. It's like a kid's dream. Aw, they're trauma bonding over their dead parents just like she did with the Earthbender kid. Look at this matador just waving his red flags around. Girl, those flags are so red they could replace my brake lights. Called it. Save the cat, kick a puppy. Wait, genocide? Genocide? For the sake of peace? Okay, Thanos. Nice philosophy, creep. You can't let them do it to anyone else? So you're just gonna do it? You're killing men, women, and children, not just the soldiers? Hating people is wrong and will always lead to worse circumstances, always. Jet has a very cool weapon. I wonder if it's a real weapon, like in real life. Aang doesn't believe in fighting, so he and Katara incapacitate Jet to stop the threat. That's the difference. Katara and Sokka lost their families to the Fire Nation and are now on a quest to help Aang reunite the Four Kingdoms and bring back peace. That's the difference. Okay, that was a shocking episode, and the storytelling they utilized was save the cat, kick a puppy. If you don't know or have only heard of Save the Cat Writes a Screenplay, it's actually a storytelling technique to show a character's true colors. During this whole show, we've seen that Zuko is an evil Fire Nation prince, but he never actually does anything too bad. And he often chooses to help his uncle or help his men rather than looking out for his own interest. This is Save the Cat idea. If you want people to like a quote-unquote evil character, you have them save a cat from a tree or an uncle from Earthbenders. And if you really want to drive home that a character is evil and unredeemable, you have them hurt someone innocent or kick a puppy. Jet is charismatic, he's got a good cause, he has a tragic backstory, and he's cute. So how can we hate him? Enter the puppy. Or in this case, a harmless old man. Now we know whatever Jet is up to, it isn't innocent, and he cannot be trusted. This is a dark and heavy episode, but I like that they found a way to make kids understand this concept of hate for hate won't get you anywhere you want to be. Sokka is the hero of this episode because he cared about people more than being the hero. He saved more than the cat. He saved everyone. Honestly, I missed Rufio in this episode. Okay, that was episodes 7 through 10 of watching Avatar: The Last Airbender for the first time. Thanks for following along with me. Did I miss anything important? What's your favorite part of this show? Let me know in the comments. Shout out to Lindsay K. Arts. Check her out on Instagram. And as always, mine and Laura's storytelling is showcased in our audio drama, The Adventures of the Dragonborn, on our channel, Your Little Sisters Productions. Be sure to subscribe so you can continue watching along with me. Bye!